starting the live stream. About to start the music. Record.
Ladies and gentlemen, Geri Petito.
I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
When you don't know just what to do.
Just what to do, just what to do.
If what you're feeling is really true.
Is really true, is it really true?
Just keep your ideas safe and sound.
Safe and sound, safe and sound.
That's exactly how change is found.
Change is found, change is found. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Geri Petito Show on Hamilton Radio. Anyone who knows me knows I'm the author of I'm Not an Addict, I'm Just an Ass. I'd rather be a smartass than a dumbass. Because, guys, 30 years ago, this July 27th, I was a dumbass. Okay? 30 years later, I can honestly now say I'm a smartass. I will be celebrating a new changed life through God, July 27th of this year. Okay? In 2016, I wrote my book. This is how big it was. I revised it in 2020, and this is now how big it is. Because so much has happened to me over the last few years, the last 5 years, right? And I want to share something with everyone about how encouraging this show is going to be. Because when I reached out and talked to this gentleman, I didn't really know his whole story. I just knew he was a musician and he was from Ireland, and I couldn't wait to interview him and hear him sing. We got to talking, and this is going to be an incredibly inspirational show for all of you. I just turned 60 years old, and this gentleman is 61, and we both started what we're doing in our 50s. And that should be incredibly encouraging for everyone out there, because I don't want anyone to ever feel like you're too old to do anything. You're not. I've interviewed authors in their 90s that wrote their first book. Okay? So I want to introduce, with no further ado, my incredible guest. He's my singing Irishman, Tom O'Sullivan. Hello, how are you?
I'm very well, Geri. Thanks very much for having me on the show.
This is so cool. First of all, I love your accent. I had to say that. I was in Ireland many years ago with my dad and my daughter, and just loved it. Your country's beautiful. So why don't we take the first few minutes and you tell everybody out there a little bit about yourself.
Well, basically I live near a town called Cove on the south coast of Ireland. And I'm married and I have 3 children, 3 boys. They're all reared now. 2 of them are living abroad. One boy is in Estonia and the other boy is in London. And I have another son that lives nearby. I have 3 grandchildren. I live in the country. I've got 6 hens, 1 rooster, 2 cats, and 2 dogs. And they all have to be fed every day. I like walking my dogs, writing poetry, writing songs. I love being original. I stopped singing cover songs. All the songs I sing now are my own original songs.
Oh, okay.
I'm always looking for inspiration. And I have plenty of inspiration at the moment. I never run out of ideas to write songs about. So I've produced 2 singles professionally in a local recording studio, and I have another single on the way, which I hope to have out in about 2 or 3 weeks' time.
So, okay, so we have a couple of your songs that we will be playing, of course, and you'll give us a little treat live with your new one that's going to be coming out.
Yeah.
So, what I want to talk about first before we get into that music is this. You know, when I read a little bit about your bio, and, you know, again, about us being so close in age with doing similar things in our 50s, I was really excited about this interview and blown away. You recently started writing songs at your age, and you started playing your guitar at 54 years old?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, I saw a lot of young guys, and they were singing songs, you know, boy bands. And I sort of said to myself, you know, those guys, they seem to have a lot to say. And they were young people, you know. And I said, like, more power to them. But I said, maybe I've something to say as well. And I felt, when I started writing, I felt that there was a fluency there, because I think I had a lot of pent-up ideas in my head. And I think there was a lot of material ideas, opinions, observations, just waiting to come out. So when I started and turned on the tap, the water just rushed out for me, basically, you know.
Okay, so I have a couple questions about this, because that's so intriguing for me.
Yeah.
When you were young, did you have something inside of you, even as a child, with music that you were afraid to maybe express?
No, but I didn't come from a musical family at all. There was no tradition, there was no mentoring. My mother sent me for guitar lessons, all right. I think I was more interested in football growing up. So I came to the music in my 50s. I considered the option of possibly going back to university to study law. So I was weighing that up. And I had been to university previously doing another degree. And I just said to myself, why don't I just do something for myself? Why do I need to have a career ulterior motive there? Why don't I do it for myself and just spread a bit of joy, hopefully, along the way?
Okay, so that's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. So, do you have any children? Are you married? Tell everyone a little bit about you.
Well, my wife, Teresa, I think we're married nearly 40 years now. I got married in 1983, and we have 3 children. The oldest boy is 34, the next boy is 31, the next boy is 28. So they're all reared now, they've all flown the nest, they're all independent. That was a fairly critical stage of my life as well, because with an empty nest, that gave me a lot of freedom as well. Because it just meant that I wasn't looking after children, you know, so that gave me an extra degree of latitude and sort of freedom to pursue my own interests as well. So that was good. That was good from the point of view of sort of not having other distractions.
Okay, very nice. Okay, so I see what's happening here. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that was playing properly. Okay. Ruben, can you hear me? Just give me 1 second. Okay, I just have to say this, and I normally don't do this on the air, but I just want to make sure this is right. When I went to play the video that's on YouTube of this, I hear the audio, but I don't see anything. So I'm not sure what's happening. Give me 1 second. Tom, talk a little bit more. Talk a little bit more. Tell everyone a little bit more.
Okay, so I live in the countryside. I'm very tuned into nature. So when I go on a walk, sorry, Jerry, your audio, I think your audio is gone there, Jerry. Will I continue talking? I'll continue talking, yeah? Okay, so I live in the countryside, and I like to bring my dogs for a walk down the fields. And when I'm doing that, I can experience all the different seasons in the year. And I'll make a lot of observations about plant life, about the land, about birds, about the sky, about temperatures, about the snow, about the 4 seasons. And there's a lot there in that. And then I just come away and I write a poem about that, or write a song. Some poems can turn into songs fairly easily, and some songs start off and end up being poems. So, you know, it's but I usually start with the idea of words, because the words for me is the story, because I'm trying to get a story across. And then once I have the words, I try and fit a melody or chords to that. I don't usually start off with the melody or the chords. I usually start off with the story. But I have done songs where I play sounds on my guitar and they sort of trigger a certain emotion, and that gets the song going then. It gives me an idea for a song.
So I want to piggyback on what you just said.
Yeah.
So I'm not a songwriter, but I'm a poet. Okay, I'm a writer and a poet.
Yeah.
So a couple named Pam and Steve, they call themselves Positivity Duo.
Right.
Without me knowing, she bought my book, and without me knowing, they took one of my poems and made it a song.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
So people are saying to me, "Oh, you're a songwriter now," and I'm like, "Well, no, not really." But the poem turns into a song.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, yeah. Absolutely, because I suppose most songs are stories, so a poem is a story. It's conveying an impression, or it's conveying emotions. So if the songwriter can build on that, definitely it'll save the songwriter a lot of time coming up with words as well. You know, so it's like Elton John does it as well with Bernie Taubin, I think his name is. So the guy Taubin creates the lyrics, and Elton John sort of creates the musical part of it. You know, so it's yeah, it can work that way. Yeah.
That's really cool. I'm listening to you, and I'm just so blown away that you started so late, and this wasn't part of your whole entire life until this point, you know?
I suppose the thing about life for me and the journey of life is that life is very varied. Like when you're growing up, it's football, then exams, then careers, then relationship, then children, and you progress through phases in your life where you're buying cars and changing cars, and you're trading up your house, and you know, like you're going into the retail store looking for a pram, something that you up to that point wasn't doing, and then you're buying nappies, you're rearing children, you're waking up in the middle of the night, you know, all these kind of things, all these phases in your life. And then I think when you get to the, at least when I got to the age of 50, I sort of said to myself, I just felt I wasn't using my talents properly. And, you know, like, I just felt I could use my talents more. And I just felt that I had a voice, and I just felt I wanted to be heard. So,
I love that.
Yeah, so I started writing poems and writing songs, and then people said to me, you know, you seem to have a gift, or you seem to have the knack of doing that. So I said, maybe I have, maybe I was just taking it for granted. So certainly with encouragement, that helped me as well. And as well as the hard work of actually dedicating myself to it as well, that I felt I became better at it through practice as well. Do you know?
Okay. Why don't we play one of your songs? Ruben, please play one of Tom's songs, and then we'll have Tom talk about it. So that's what we will do. I think your songs are beautiful. And then we'll talk about what inspired it for you.
Okay.
Okay.
when the day is nearly done and people start to rest. Peace and calm falls on the land, our race is almost run. Cars that go on the road make a lonesome sound. People making their way home, the sun is going down. You come to me for comfort with your joys and pain. Let me offer you consolation till tomorrow comes again. Let me be your harbor, I'll protect you from the storm. Let me put my arms around you, I'll keep you safe and warm. Lullaby, my baby, hush, now go to sleep. Lullaby, my baby, don't you weep. Lullaby, my baby, may all your dreams come true. Lullaby, my baby, you know that I love you. Yes, I do, and it's true. Good night, baby, my darling, I love you. Sweet dreams, sleep tight. Everything will be alright. Sweet dreams, sleep tight. Everything will be alright. Good night.
So that's beautiful. So tell us the inspiration behind that song. I want to hear all about it.
I suppose there was a couple of different things, Jody, came into the mix. I remember one time, or any time you're travelling home at night and you're sitting maybe at the side of the motorway in the evening time and you can hear the cars whizzing by, and they're just going zoom, 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 zoom. And I always just think it's a very lonely feeling. I also sort of felt, I worked in this job before, and on a Friday afternoon when everyone was gone, I sort of sat in the office on my own and I sort of absorbed the silence, and I just felt the whole heat of the whole day and the week was gone, and there was just peace and calm there, and those ideas were lingering in my head. And then I sort of transposed that to a situation where you have two people at home, and when the day is done, they sort of have one another to sort of console and comfort one another. And people have fears and they have anxieties about the future, and they get depressed thinking about the past and that. So I just felt, it's Lullaby My Baby. It's sort of like, relax, everything is going to be all right. We're alive. I'm here for you. Tomorrow's another day, and we'll be okay. And that's basically, roughly, I wanted a song that was soothing, calm, a song where the lyrics were clear, that people got the message. And that's what I tried to put together.
So that's a beautiful message. Yeah, especially through the past year.
Yeah.
People need encouragement and people need hope.
Yeah.
There have been so many sad things that have happened. A friend of mine passed away from suicide. Another friend attempted it, but she's okay now. And a few other people have passed away. A lot of musicians have passed away. So it's been very, very heartbreaking for so many. So that song is very, very beautiful and very uplifting and encouraging for anyone out there who needs it.
Yeah.
You know? I want to, Tom, you know what? I want to take this time and read a poem out of my book because it's kind of like a piggyback off of your song, okay?
Okay.
For anyone out there feeling hopeless, we want to encourage you. You can reach out to me. You can reach out to Tom. I mean, we're here to encourage you and help you. You don't have to be alone, okay?
Yeah.
So it's called Put Down the Gun.
Okay.
I had to have this purple gun just in case my life was done. I kept it safe locked in my room because I was filled with gloom and doom. Yes, there were times that I just knew if I loaded it up what I could do, but I kept on hearing that gentle voice, put down that gun, you have that choice. Life may seem hard at the end of the day, but that's when you need to really pray. Dear Father, I beg you to show me the truth. How can life be so bad when I'm only a youth? Get rid of that gun and go take a shower. Ask someone for help. You do have that power. So guys, if there's anyone out there struggling with anything, we're here to encourage you and tell you you're not alone. You can just make a phone call. Reach out to me on Facebook, okay? So when we're younger, Tom, self-esteem could be an issue for a lot of people. How did you deal with that? Did you have problems with that?
I would say growing up in schools, I went to big schools, and certainly there was a lot of sort of bullying and harassment went on. But unfortunately, that seems to be all part of growing up and trying to toughen up in that environment. You know, it was probably worse back then than what it is now. There's greater awareness of it nowadays. But certainly back in the old days, it sort of toughened you up. But you know, I like your poem. Though I never heard that poem before about putting down the gun, and you spoke there about doom and gloom, you know, and people losing hope and seeing no potential there at all. Hope is a very powerful word. You know, if people buy a little lottery ticket, it just gives them a little bit of hope. You know, and that's what people want, is they want hope. You spoke about prayer there every morning. I'm not sort of an institutionalized religious person, but I'm a very spiritual person. Every morning I get up, I kneel at the side of my bed and I ask for help. You know? You spoke about youths there, young people thinking that there's no hope there and that life is just drab. And you spoke about asking somebody for help, you know, and reaching out, which is very, very important as well. You know, and I understand all of that. I understand that completely, you know. I always remember one man said one day to me, he said, when you go to bed at night, he says, put your boots under the bed. And I said, why? And he says, when you get out in the morning, you'll find out why. Because obviously, when you put your boots in under the bed, you have to kneel down to find them. So you start your morning on your knees.
I love that.
Yeah. You know?
Oh,
so put your boots under your bed, you know, was the sort of, you know, like, yeah, like I have my own, I have my own personal prayers in the morning. Like, to be honest, when I set my day up, I like to dress my bed. I like to pull back the curtains. I like to dress my bed, and I like to have my prayers said. Now, I see a lot of young fellas today, and they don't pull back their curtains. Their bedrooms are untidy, right? And then they're not saying prayers. So what I would say is, pull back the curtains. It makes you sort of aware that there's a day going on out there. It makes you sort of possibly welcome the day as well. You know, dressing your bed gives you a sort of a sense of order, gives you a sense of being a little bit organised, that you're doing a positive job. and saying a prayer, then asking for help. It's about, for me, having an awareness that there's help there, and it makes us believe as well that, you know, they talk about willpower and they talk about a power greater than ourselves. So when we sort of surrender ourselves to a power greater than ourselves, we are not relying on willpower then, because the problem with willpower is like batteries. As they say, like, willpower will only take us so far. The batteries will go flat. And willpower is good, but it's just having an awareness that there is a God there and a God that looks after us. And if people don't believe in God, I don't try and shove it down their throats. That's their own business. But God is very important in my life, you know, and I appreciate what I have today. And I think He has me on some sort of a pathway or some sort of a journey, and maybe I'm being directed in a certain way, you know.
I feel the same way about you. I'm smiling and giggling here is because I don't remember the exact poem, but I talk about making your bed every day in my book.
Yeah.
And I remember going to a Christian woman's luncheon speaker show. And this woman, she's very well known in the Christian world now. She may be gone, I'm not sure. She was up there in age. But she said God told her she was dealing with depression and everything, and she prayed and prayed and prayed, and then finally she heard His voice one day, and He said, make your bed. And she says, well, what exactly does that mean, Lord? Is that a metaphor for something? And He said, no, make your bed.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
And it's true.
Yeah.
You know, it's the first thing you should do, make your bed.
Yeah, like when you talk there about God speaking to us, like, I never heard God's voice. But sometimes I wonder, where do all these ideas that I come up with come from? Who inspires me? Who initiated the thought process? Who planted the idea in my head? Do you know what I mean? So, is it a coincidence, or am I being steered in a certain direction? I don't know. Do you know?
Okay, so I think about stuff like that as well. I've heard God's voice twice. At my lowest point the first time, and I didn't have a clue what was going to happen. And He said, everything's going to be okay. I didn't know what that meant until it happened. And then 2016, I got a tap on my shoulder that woke me up in the middle of the night, and I heard, write your book. And I kid you not.
I say, yeah.
Because I'm the type of person, you seem nicer than me as far as more calmer. I'm the type of person where God can't gently whisper to me. He's got to, like, yell at me and beat me over the head, you know? Do it.
I say, yeah.
So, very, very cool. Very beautiful. I want to talk about your name. I want to talk about some Irish facts that Americans are going to love. Tell us a little bit about different things like the O, and, you know, just talk to us a little bit about some of the things you were sharing with me.
Well, my name is Tom O'Sullivan, and in Ireland of old, there was a family system. It was like a clan system, a tribal system. So there were a lot of families. There were McCarthy's, there were Murphys, there were O'Sullivans, and the word O from the Gaelic means from. So if I'm Tom from the Sullivan tribe. So that's why the O is there. It's a Gaelic. Like, if somebody is called John McCarthy, Mac in Gaelic means Mock, which means the son of. So if you've John McCarthy, it means John, the son of Carthy. And that's how these little prefixes are there.
What about McDonald's?
Yeah, the same with McDonald's, yeah. Like, what's very interesting is that Ireland has a population of about 5 million people, and we speak about a diaspora, which is basically Irish people in America, North America, that claim Irish roots. And I believe in the US of A that up to about 100 million people there claim to have Irish roots, which is absolutely phenomenal, really. You know, and I understand, and I know the Irish people in America are extremely proud of their Irish heritage. You know, I can see it in the St. Patrick's Day parade from New York, which hasn't happened, I know, for the last 2 years. But, you know, I understand, like, the music, the dancing, the culture. People are very proud to be Irish, and I understand that it's a very strong thing. Like where I live, the town of Cove was formerly known as Queenstown. It was renamed in honour of Queen Victoria, and 3 million people emigrated from Cove to North America, and they would have gone to Ellis Island in New York, and you know, as immigrants there. And as you know yourself, the Italians and the Irish, they went to America in search of a better life for themselves. In fact, I'm writing a poem at the moment, and the poem is called Heartbreak Pier. And I'll send it on to you when I actually have it finished, but I'm actually going to convert it into a song. But I did some research about that. Absolutely harrowing scenes. When the young people left their parents in their family homes, there was a ritual. It was called an American wake. A wake was like something you did for someone when they died. So when they left, this is now during the period 1850 up to about 1950, that 100 years, they knew when they left they wouldn't be coming back. They said goodbye to their mother, they said goodbye to their father, their sisters, their brothers. They went around to the neighbours, they said good luck, I'm off to America. They knew they wouldn't be back. Some of their family accompanied them down to Cove, and then there were harrowing scenes there of people that left and never returned from Ireland. So
my dad was 14, and he was on that boat to Ellis Island alone, not knowing the language, meeting an uncle he never met. But the good thing is the entire family ultimately came. They worked their butts off to get the whole family here. One of the authors that I spoke about, she wrote a book at 90 years old. I believe it was her first book in 92. Recently was her second. I interviewed her on both shows. And she was from, I think, Poland. She wrote the book from her mom's perspective while she was in her mom's belly. And the horrific stories. Growing up, all I knew was my dad was on that boat. I'm thinking he's got a beautiful room. He was taken care of. That wasn't the case. So that was, imagine us sending our 14-year-old, and, so I understand, and it's just horrible. When you write that poem and that song, please share it with me. We will get it out there all over.
Okay, Jerry, no problem. I suppose what the Irish discovered when they went to America too, it wasn't a bed of roses either. It was the land of liberty, and it was the start of a new life. They were away from, let's say, British oppression, and they were in the land of the free. But that was no guarantee that they were going to make it either. A lot of them could have ended up in slums. They could have ended up in lowly paid jobs. There could have been discrimination against them as well because they were Irish. But they knuckled down, they joined the police force, they joined the fire service, they started businesses, they worked hard, they looked after one another, they networked, they gave jobs to their brothers or their sisters, they helped their friends, and they worked hard to succeed, But overall, America was a great outlet for those people because they had nowhere else to go. There was nothing at home for them except misery and poverty. So it was a great, great outlet for them,
Wow, beautifully said, my friend, beautifully said. I want to let you know there's a woman on Facebook. She's a friend of mine now, and I shared this with her as well. Her name is Ellie Scott Shaw, and she's from Ireland. So she will have this everywhere. I want to connect you with her as well. because
Yeah.
she will promote you all over, even Ireland.
Okay.
She's a wonderful woman. I love you, Ellie. So let's play another song. Ruben, let's play another song. We have one more that we can play, and then we'll have you sing something as well. But then we're going to talk a little bit more.
Okay.
And you can tell everyone how to get in touch with you, whatever you want to tell them.
Okay.
So we'll play another song, and then we'll talk about that song too, because if I'm not mistaken, I think it's a Christmas song.
That's right.
Listen, we need it. We need a Christmas song right now.
Yeah. Do you want me to talk? Do you want me to talk a little bit about it, just to introduce it?
You can introduce it until he gets it playing. Yes.
Yeah, because I just feel that it's sort of incumbent on musicians to try and bring out a song for Christmas. It's a great time of the year to bring out a song. Obviously, the market can get a bit flooded as well. I said, I'd steer clear of writing a song about the pandemic. That was the obvious choice. So I wrote a song about Christmas where there's a sort of a subtle reference to the pandemic, but I came up with words, let's make this a Christmas to remember, Because basically what I felt is that, we only have one life, and people might think, oh, that was a terrible Christmas. But, for me, it was a great Christmas. I know there was a pandemic going on, but I made the most of it because, really, we've only a certain limit to the number of Christmases that we'll enjoy here on this earth. So my attitude was, make the most of it, and let's make it a special Christmas for everyone to remember, rather than staying at home being down and out and glum, saying I can't go here, I can't go there, I can't fly to Florida on my holiday, I can't fly to Spain on my holiday. Pandemic aside, let's make the most of what we have here. So that was really the message. Let's make it a special Christmas to remember.
Beautiful. Okay, Ruben, let's play it, baby. All right. Wow. Beautiful. Okay. We are waiting. Ruben? Okay. Let's talk a little bit more. Tom, I'm not sure what's happening. I'm going to message him. Talk a little bit more.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, there it goes. Is that you or him?
Oh, that's me.
Oh, okay. Okay. Play a little of your music until you get that taken care of.
Okay. You want me to play a bit of music, is it, Jerry?
Play a little bit, and then if we hear him play your song, you can stop.
Okay.
Children are singing, bells are ringing, peace at Christmas time. Merry Christmas, everyone. Let there be peace and joy. We're all in this together, every girl and every boy. Children are singing, bells are ringing, peace at Christmas time. When the world is despairing, people are caring goodwill at Christmas time. Loved ones away from home, not feeling all alone, love at Christmas time. Let's make it a special Christmas to remember, full of magic and joy. Let's see the smiles on children's faces, be thankful for what we have now. bells are ringing peace at Christmas time. The good times are on their way again. These hard times will pass. A human spirit will see us through and feel a love that lasts. Children are singing, bells are ringing peace at Christmas time. Children are singing, bells are ringing peace at Christmas time. Children are singing, bells are ringing peace at Christmas time.
So Tom,
Yeah.
it was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful. I actually wrote a very long poem about the pandemic.
Yeah.
What to do for a radio show. You should think about doing a song because you could put a positive twist on it somehow, I'm sure.
Mm.
That would be incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Okay.
You know, in your bio, you talk about some of your influences. Okay, you know, pop music, you know, country folk ballads, right?
Yeah.
Do you have anyone in particular, like an artist that you just loved?
I like Woody Guthrie, and I like Bob Dylan as well, and Johnny Cash.
Okay.
You know, those standout artists really, you know, would they'd be important for me really. Particularly Woody Guthrie, I was fascinated with him. I actually bought his complete works and all his songs and everything. He was unbelievable, that guy, you know. I think he sort of set the trend for a lot of people to follow. I think Dylan was sort of his successor really as such, you know. But like Merle Haggard, another great guy, you know. I love guys like Christopherson, you know, those kind of those kind of singers, really fantastic, you know.
Of course.
I like,
Go ahead.
yeah, I like the Eagles as well, the Beatles, I like the Beatles. But I like rapping too as well, and I like rock and roll, and I like heavy rock, so I'm not sort of just pigeonholed in one particular genre, you know. I like all the different influences, but I think my favourite would be folk. I like a nice folk song that tells a nice story, you know?
Yes, I love that.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that. And I think that's the poet in us,
Yeah.
you know, because
Yeah.
we need a story. You're right about that.
Like, when I listen to some songs, I'm saying, what did he say? Because the lyrics are a bit sort of muffled or something. But the emphasis is on the beat and on the rhythm and on the sound, and the message is a bit sort of lost. But what I find with all my songs is that I like the message hopefully to come across as being very clear. Do you know?
Okay. Yes, very clear. I have a hard time with rap. And I have a hard time with, you know, hip-hop, derogatory. I can't deal with any of it.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you this for a reason. I interviewed a young man. His real name is Randy Shank. He was from Trenton, New Jersey. He lives down south now. He got in touch with me years ago. It was one of my first interviews on Hamilton Radio, actually.
Right.
said, he messages me on Facebook and he says, Miss Geri, do you think you could interview me? And I said, call me. And he called me. And I said, young man, can you keep it clean? He said, absolutely. I said, if you keep it clean, you come in live in studio. He said, okay. Right. So him and a couple other entertainers came in. He was incredible. And I asked him this question. I said, why do you guys have to curse and use this terrible language and all this, horrible stuff, right? And he said, Geri, he said, Miss Geri, everyone has a story they need to tell. And unfortunately for some of us, this is the only story we know.
Yeah.
And I love this young man, and he now goes by Six Director, and he does photo shoots. He's incredible. Videography, what he's doing, his music. So he made me at least understand it. I don't listen to it, but he made me at least understand it.
I suppose some of it can come across as being vulgar, some of it can come across as being very derogatory to women. Yep. But I suppose they're sort of shooting from the hip, and you're hearing what's going down on the street, you know?
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So I get it, Tom, but I can't listen to it, of course, but at least I understand now where they're coming from. He's right, and we said the same thing. We need a story, and they need to tell theirs.
Yeah.
So, why don't you give us all a little gift here by playing some of your new song that's going to be coming out live, right here on Hamilton Radio.
Well, I'll do the first two verses anyway for you, Geri. This particular song, it's called Never Forget Home. So basically the song, it's all about a parent saying goodbye to their young one at the airport, worried about their young one that they'll be okay. It's basically the old story of the bird, the fledgling, flying from the nest. And it's all about the parent wondering if they'll be okay. But it's also about the young person asserting themselves and becoming independent. And the message is, never forget home, because that's where you're from, and we're your parents, we'll always love you, and anytime you want to come back, you're more than welcome. So it goes like this. I hope and I pray you'll come back one day and never forget your home. But the time has come for you to move on and make your own way alone. From the time that you were born, I watched you learn and grow. I listened to all your stories and dreams, but now it's time to go. And it goes back to the chorus again. I hope and I pray you'll come back one day and never forget your home. But the time has come for you to move on and make your own way alone. That's just a short snippet of it there, Geri.
I love it.
I'm working on that in the studio at the moment, giving it the full studio wax treatment, and it'll be enhanced with other instruments and drum patterns and all sorts of decorative stuff. And I'm looking forward to it, you know? Yeah.
So let me ask you, do you play any other instruments or just the guitar?
I play harmonica as well. So I have a harmonica here actually in front of me, so...
Oh my gosh, yes.
So that's the harmonica.
My grandfather used to play the harmonica. So
Is that
I
right?
grew up, my grandfather, I grew up at my nonna's every Sunday with all the family members. My dad had 7 brothers and sisters. I mean, it was incredible. In Astoria, New York, every Sunday. And my grandfather would play the harmonica and the accordion.
Yeah, I played an instrument. I have it over here in the room over there. I can show it to you if you want to see it. It's called a concertina.
Yes, please.
Will I show it to you? Okay, one second. I'll just get it here. Excuse me, I'll get it.
Yes, we would love to see that. I'm into all that kind of stuff. I love instruments and old ones and different ones. Absolutely. This has been a very cool interview. Look at this.
This instrument was actually made in America, would you believe, with a man called Wally Carroll. He's out there in Kentucky actually. It's called a concertina. It's a squeeze box. There's actually 15 buttons here on this side, and there's 15 buttons here on this side. So you can sort of coordinate both hands while you're playing it. So I'll leave it out a picture here, but you'll hear that it goes like this. And it goes on.
That is so adorable. So wait, was this all self-taught? You taught yourself how to play these instruments?
I did. I taught myself how to play them. All right, yeah. Yeah.
I don't play instruments. I don't sing. Okay, and people say to me, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you can write poetry like that." And I'm like, "I can't believe you could play instruments like that. I can't read music. I'm tone deaf."
Well, do you know, Jerry, like, I don't want to give the impression I'm a genius, because I'm not a genius, but what it comes down to basically, it comes down to dedication and practice. And that tune I just played for you there, I said to a friend once, I said, you know, I'm playing that tune hundreds of times and I'm still messing it up. And he said to me, play it a couple of thousand times and it'll start getting better. So, you know, it's just regular practice. Like, when I finish the interview with you now, I'll sit down by the fire tonight and I'll make a nice cup of tea for myself and I'll play that concertina for about an hour. And it's an instrument that gives me great comfort actually, and it sort of keeps me occupied and entertained, and I love it. You know, and it's Irish traditional music as well, which is what I absolutely love as well. So I've got folk music and I've got the guitar writing songs and poems, but this is traditional Irish music where there's basically, it's all tunes basically, and it's fantastic. I love it.
That is so cool to me. I absolutely love all that. Yeah. What would you like to tell everybody out there about you possibly entertaining? Do you travel to entertain? Whatever you want to say and promote yourself, let's do that.
I remember I was at an open mic event one night and I met this man, and I was curious to know what his outlook was and what his strategy was. And he said to me, look, he said, I'm on a journey, he says, and I don't know where this journey is going to take me. And I just felt that his whole attitude was very liberating. He didn't have any strategic plan. He had no business plan. He had no marketing plan. There was nothing like that. He just said he kept writing songs, and he just said he'll see where he'll end up with it. So that's where I am at the moment. I'm on a journey. God only knows where the journey is going to take me or who I'll meet along the way. But if there are people in America there who are interested in having me over, I'd certainly be very interested. I'd love to entertain and to showcase my songs. I have about approximately 30 songs written now, and I want to try and get my songs out there, really, you know what I mean? I'm not really motivated so much by money or anything like that. The music business is a difficult business to survive in. But I'd love to get to America. I was to Chicago once back in 2002. I'd love to get out to America again. I'd love to play at some venue there, and play my songs there would be fantastic. So I'll just have to wait and see if my journey will bring me to your great country, you know. But at the moment, I'll just keep writing songs here, and God only knows what's going to happen.
Well, I think what you're doing is absolutely incredible. I think what you're doing can save lives. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. The inspiration that you share through your words.
Yeah.
What you're doing, I don't have to say it, but you know, just don't stop. You know, it's impossible. You're not going to be able to stop anyway. So, you know, God put this inside of you, and it's now finally shining. It's your time to shine.
Yeah, thanks.
You know?
And you know, I love spreading joy, and I actually like giving it away for free. That instrument there, the concertina, I often go into my local town. I was in there yesterday, in fact. Yesterday was a public holiday here, Easter Monday, and I sat on the park bench, and I just played the instrument, and people hear it, they compliment me. I'm not even busking, you know, I'm not busking for money, I'm just playing it. I'm just trying to spread a bit of joy, a bit of entertainment. And people have come up to me and said, you know, that's just what we need. We need that in this particular pandemic, and hopefully it'll cheer us up. And it puts a bit of life into the place as well, you know, so, yeah.
Absolutely, Tom, absolutely. We're coming to the part of the show where I want to read another poem out of my book, and I want to say something to everyone out there. Sometimes in life, what happens is we make choices. We have free will. And I say this freely because it's true. I wouldn't want it any other way. I wouldn't want to live without having that free will. But sometimes what happens is we make choices, and choices bring consequences. Some good, some bad, right? And a lot of people want to continue to blame their surroundings, their environment, their circumstances, others around them. I have never done that, even when I was in the midst of my nonsense. I always took full responsibility and said these were my choices. So I want everyone out there to know that you do have choices and you can change. You don't have to be stuck in anything you're told you're stuck in.
Yeah.
Whether it's abuse or anything, right? Whether it's abuse or anything, there's outlets now. You know, 30, 40, 50 years ago, they didn't have outlets you have today. You just have to make a phone call, reach out to someone, whatever your circumstance is. Make a choice to change it, please. Okay? So I'm going to read a poem to you guys, and I want to say this before I read it. To the addict out there, don't fall into what you're being told. You do not have a disease forever. It can be changed through God. Save my life. And you are not powerless, not over any drug, not over alcohol, not over any addiction. You are not powerless. So I'm going to read this poem to you, and I hope this helps someone out there.
Okay.
It's called Change Your Choice.
Okay.
I had a life-changing moment that I knew had to be, but the only way to change things was to first start with me. So I looked in the mirror and woke up one day and thought to myself I needed to pray. So I asked God to change me, to help me stay strong, to clean up my mess, to right what's been wrong. I cleaned up my diet. I cleaned up my room. I cleaned up old habits with this old dirty broom. I kept going forward and never looked back. I refused to derail, stayed on the right track. I realized my worth and all that did matter through my selfish behavior, the lives I had shattered. I finally decided at 30 years old to stop abusing my body, my mind, heart, and soul. My life-changing choice that I had once made, almost 30 years now, guys, my debt has been paid. So you read all my thoughts on how to stay clean. It's all or nothing, my friend. There's no in-between. To live or to die is a choice you must make. Your life is not worthless, and you're not a mistake. One day at a time is a slogan you've heard. It works if you work it while applying His word. For you to get healthy, for your mind not to fail, escaping reality will keep you in jail. With addictive behavior, sex, drugs, food, or money, substituting addictions, now isn't that funny? I'm not an addict, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. May the good Lord bless and guide each and every one of you. I hope and pray somebody out there is touched by that. and knows to make a phone call. Okay? So Tom, you still have plenty of time. What else is it that you'd like to talk about or say to your people out there? Give them some more inspiration. You want to sing another song? Whatever it is, the floor is yours for the next few minutes.
The one bit of advice I give people trying to learn an instrument is don't be intimidated by the instrument. Don't be intimidated by teachers. Don't be intimidated by musical theory. Get a guitar, you start on 3 chords. There's an old saying like in music, 3 chords and the truth. So any song, even your poem, you could convert that to a song with 3 chords. People just learn 3 chords, a G, a C, and a D. And you repeat them, G, C, D. Forget about all the guys doing all the fancy guitar soloists and the guys with the long hair and that owned the guitar. Just start with your simple 3 chords. Practice, I would say to people, practice every day for 10 minutes. And the trick about practicing for 10 minutes is that you'll get duped, because what you'll find at the beginning is, thanks be to God I don't have a chore to practice an instrument for an hour. Because you've said, I'm only going to commit to this for 10 minutes. But what happens like magic is you get duped, because the better you become, the more addicted you become, and you're becoming addicted not to a dangerous substance now, but to something like a guitar that's going to entertain you. And then the more addicted you become, the more you want to play it. And the more you want to play it, the better you become. So it's a bit of a, it's sort of evolving. It's a snowball effect. It's getting bigger as it's rolling down the hill, So that's what I would say to people is just start with 3 chords and don't be intimidated by... To be honest, when I started playing the guitar first, people were talking to you about strumming patterns. Down, down, up, up, down, up, down, up. And it drove me absolutely crackers. It broke all my natural rhythms and everything like that. At the start, just do it yourself and you'll slowly get into the groove of it. You don't even have to have what's known as a musical mind. As a man said to me once, if you can hear your phone ringing, you're musical. So you're musical enough to play guitar. It doesn't matter if you feel you can't sing or that you haven't got a good voice. Start. The more you sing, the better you become at it. So that's what, and of course the other thing about the guitar then as well, people will learn the significance of singing in the right key. Because if I try singing a song in the wrong key, I'll come across as a very bad singer. Whereas if I can sing it in the right key, then that will help me make a better impression, let's say. I'm not saying I'm the best singer, but what I'm saying is it just helps me to put the song over better. So finding your key is important. But you can buy something for the guitar called a capo. It's this fella here. He goes on the guitar like this, and you slide him across, and it changes the key of the guitar. So you're still just playing the 3 basic shapes that you learnt, but by putting on this capo and moving it, say, up the neck of the guitar, it changes the key of the song. But you're still playing just the 3 shapes that you learned, a G, a C, and a D. But the capo now has transposed them into different sounds. So I would say, that is a cheat, but I reckon I could teach someone how to play the guitar very, very quickly. But for me, the whole emphasis is on starting small, keeping it simple, and gaining momentum. Because if you just learn 3 chords, you gain momentum, and when you gain momentum, your confidence goes up. And when your confidence goes up, you're on a roll. And then you're ready to take on more chords. But just start with a modest plan, rather than trying to conquer the guitar from the word go. It takes time, but after 3 months, somebody should be able to play a tune like, say, Silent Night now or something like that, Yeah.
That is so cool. So you have a cheat thing that you can move on your guitar.
This capo here, yeah, like that.
Yes.
It's actually, I think it's from the Spanish word capo anyway. So the Americans actually, it's like tomato and tomato. The Americans I think the Americans call it a capo, but over here we call it a capo. But you see a lot of musicians using these implements, you know. So that's a cheat, and you can use that for the guitar, you know.
So that's amazing. Is there anything else you would like to share, or would you like to sing?
I suppose I'm probably not as prepared now as what I
It's okay.
should be.
We're coming to the close of the show. No. You're very prepared. But I didn't want to cut you off if there was something else you wanted to share.
Yeah. No, I think there was one particular song I wrote recently about a gentleman who lived in Cove, and his name was Jim Halligan, and he died. And he had a catchphrase, and his catchphrase was absolutely marvellous. You know? And I actually wrote a song about him, actually. Well, I heard some sad news today about my friend who passed away. Another great character is gone. His memory will live on. Jimmy Halligan was his name, and things will never be the same. He was kind to everyone, and his smile was filled with fun. Absolutely marvellous, he would say. He made the most of every day. He was happy with his lot, and he gave the best he got. That was just a little tribute I wrote to my friend, and absolutely marvellous, he would say. He made the most of every day. He was happy with his lot, and he gave the best he got. And people complimented me on that. I wrote that song just there in a couple of days. The other point I would make as well, Jerry, and I'm sure you understand this about writing poetry. Some people think you can write a song like in 5 minutes, or you'd hear stories about famous songs being written in 5 minutes. For me, writing one song can take a month. I often start with random, incoherent thoughts, and it's like a sculptor working on a block of stone. You chisel away, you come up with other ideas, enhancements, you edit, you delete, you add, you change, and it eventually evolves. It starts to start taking shape. You go to bed, you go to sleep, your subconscious is brewing away the idea. You wake up inspired, you change it again, you chip away, and it evolves. So I would say to people, don't be put off with the notion of trying to write a song. Just get a pen, write down the first thing that comes into your head, make a list, do some research in Google, get a couple of different angles, and start moving stuff about, and hopefully it'll start taking shape. That would be my advice on songwriting. The same as I gave advice there on how to take up an instrument and start small and have modest plans. Just practice for 10 minutes every day, you know?
That's absolutely beautiful. Real cute. I'm going to share something before we close.
Yeah.
I keep a pad and pen by my bed on this little special table I have, right, with a light, because I'll wake up in the middle of the night sometimes and I'll, oh my gosh, that's got to be part of a poem. Okay. I was on the road one day, driving, and all of a sudden something came in my head. I pulled over, took my pad and pen out, and wrote the 2 lines, and that became an incredible poem. So that's what happens when your mind is constantly on the creative side. And it's beautiful. And you know what? Everything you just said is absolutely accurate and perfect. I love the way you put that, Tom.
And I agree with you 100% there too as well, Jerry, because I went out today walking my dogs, and this idea for a tune came into my head, and I said, oh my God, I hope I can get home without meeting anybody, because if I meet anyone, they distract me. And it's like, as if they'd say in Ireland, the fairies come, they land on your shoulder, they whisper in your ear, and unless you listen to the fairies and what they tell you, unless as you say, unless you pull in at the side of the road and write it down, or get up in the middle of the night and write it down. If you wake up in the following morning, it's like having a dream and you can't remember what the dream was all about. But you know you had a dream about something, but you can't remember the full detail of it. Do you know?
So, Tom, thank you so much. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for this incredible interview. It was so beautiful, so inspirational. Your singing, I love it. Your writing is off the charts. So I want to thank you for sharing all of that with us here at Hamilton Radio on my show. And, you know, you are always welcome back, okay? So when you get the next few songs going, maybe, you know, in the fall, whatever, we'll do something.
All right, Geri, thanks very much. And Geri, hopefully some other American artists there might like my work, and they might say, you know, they might think maybe they can put their twist on a song, or maybe they would like to produce one of my songs, and I'd certainly be open for that. If anyone wants to contact me with you know, with the possibility of them covering my songs, or if anyone wants me to go to the US of A, I'd be delighted to listen to any offers or opportunities, you know.
Do you want to give them a number they can call you?
I think my email address is probably the easiest. It's just simply info@tomosullivan.com. info@tomosullivan.com.
Perfect. Tom O'Sullivan, thank you. What a pleasure this was for me. I love your accent. I love everything about you. Mwah! Huge kisses from the USA. And listen, Ellie girl, share this all over. She's gonna, I promise. We love you, Ellie. Thank you, Tom.
Okay. Geri, thanks very much. And God bless you. And you have a great story. You're a great inspiration to people. And I love your poems there. And you know, the one there about choices, I could hear that rap song coming through in your poem there about choices. Do you know? Fantastic. And it could be made even into a folk song or anything like that. Very powerful words. And I understand that.
We might do
and
something.
I know you've been through a lot in your life, and you know, you were on your road to Damascus, and you know, you had your epiphany there, you saw the light, and you know, you're living your life to your potential, and you're showcasing your talents there now, you know, and you've a great welcoming personality, and you're a very positive person. Thanks very much.
Oh, I love you, Tom. And tell your wife thank you for sharing you with us today. Thank you, sweetheart.
All right, Geri. Thanks, man. Good night now.
Thank you, Hamilton Radio. Okay, Ruben,
Okay.
baby.
Okay, thanks.
When the day is nearly done and people start to rest, peace and calm falls on the land, our race is almost run. Cars that go on the road make a lonesome sound. People making their way home, the sun is going down. You come to me for comfort with your joys and pain. Let me offer you consolation till tomorrow comes again. Let me be your harbor, I'll protect you from the storm. Let me put my arms around you, I'll keep you safe and warm. Lullaby, my baby, hush, now go to sleep. Lullaby, my baby, don't you weep. Lullaby, my baby, may all your dreams come true. Lullaby, my baby, you know that I love you. Yes, I do, and it's true. Good night, baby, my darling, I love you. Sweet dreams, sleep tight. Everything will be alright. Sweet dreams, sleep tight. Everything will be alright. Good night.
Okay, Jerry.